Hello and welcome as today's date comes in that of Wednesday, 23rd of October 2019. My name is Derek and like always, all bets, trades, and of which the like, well that is your own risk and your own reward. Bitcoin dominance has basically shown that not much is continuing to happen. We can see just yada yada in here on the weekly, hanging on with the thread now for 3 weeks, or well 2 weeks on a thread as it's resisting the lows, but low volatile moves from these two before, but overall, this move is really nothing, especially when we compare it back to like pre, uh, well, May 2018. This is to me when things really dried up as far as volatility and movements are concerned. So today's session not really showing anything as far as yep, we see looks to be wild movements in the current cryptos, rather not much of so. We had one correctionary move in here within the 18 that came up on September 23rd. Then it started to show weakness on the lows on the 27th, thus another leg lower. And here, correctionary move, matching low, and yet another correctionary move, and it's been in the 18 average now for the fourth. This is the fourth day. Key support, pretty much the area where we're at now. And when key support's broken, well, big levels can be taken out, and that's exactly what's being happening. Or that's what's going on right now within Bitcoin. As on the daily term, the price action has had a clear break just recently within this major key level of support, roughly around 7,700. Now currently at 75. As the price has had this break in here where it was at that around low 9,000 level, had the breakdown on September the 24th, a very concise move. And well, since that day, it has not broken support until just now. It established resistance first near 8,500, then a little bit higher at 87, but it stayed within this entire sideways range. Well, that was the 23rd, and today's the 23rd. So from the 23rd to the 23rd. What did the 23rd do in October or August? It went up 2.87%. But as it goes, that now means that the statement is made, screaming out price action that of, yep, breaking support. We're going to next key level. Next key level is low 6,000s. Looking at this on the single hour term time frame, as price action had this break in here a couple days ago, 3 days ago on October the 20th. Obviously, beside the range area 8,100, this resistance, the break was a clear move, and so did we find any support at where we were supposed to, which was between this key level of 79 and 78? Yeah, a little bit. And then on the exit here, wow, major break of that level. And then, of course, this big key level here, uh, we didn't find anything here at 7,700. At least not via that of the single hour term time frame. On the single minute, well, I can't say so much for that either, as we had price action. I say that word a lot, two words. But anyway, 7,900 fall to 75, like $400 in, well, 4 minutes. Uh, a lot of times you can't even drink a cup of coffee in that time. But hey, the price can go down and up in fast move increments, and well, that's just how the cryptocurrencies are. So taking a look at this as far as the Fibonacci is concerned and a more longer term time frame, what we have within the triple day is the price in here within the sideways range finding resistance on the 18, now exitation of such. So the 63.42 level usually piercing extra, and I'm going to pop up another Fibonacci soon that's just barely below that as well. That's probably where it's going to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if this does make a move concisely this week or whatever, however long it may take, to somewhere around 61, 6,000, maybe a small pierce below that. And that'd be an area, of course, that I'd be looking for the big point in support. When we take a look at this from a more longer term, we'll go to the weekly chart. And the Fibonacci used in here is going to be from these lows down in here and these 20,000 highs and a 23% correction move, which worked in here big time with support at around 62, which is that number just barely below 63. That seems to be the area where, again, it should be heading down towards this. Within this, we had an up move on the week. We were obviously down within this descending triangle. Well, not really down, but it went below the 18 low. So yeah, down of course, but a leg lower here. And then it's been above the 18 average of highs from the 1st of April to that of the 8th of July area time frame. And then it left it back with that last move in September. It has remained there now for the last 4 or so weeks. And now this is an attempt, of course, to revert to a trend after the price action has made that of a higher low, 3,000 being higher than a couple $100. And then, of course, the higher high from before then. So higher high, higher low, lower high. Okay, now what's that? Oh, one of the very, very first things that when I looked at charts, that I really taught myself when I looked at a market is you have a situation like this, key high, key low, and you've had some decent whatever movement like this afterwards. What's the next big question? Because to me, when I see this is like, okay, I could make a case to go up here, down below there. It's been higher. It's been a big uptrend. And from this move, if we'd have any type of higher or low and come back up, well, that would just be a strong setup because then we'd be talking about things like cup and handles and inverted head and shoulders pattern. For in a situation of any type of momentum that does anything like this, well, now we'd be talking about cup and handle, well, this in here, but a lot of it would be left shoulder from the first support in early 2018, just this little area in here, however you want to look at it. Just the fact that it would consolidate in here, have this move, come up and do all of this, that setup in itself would be very, very bullish. Again, I'm going to go with multiple sides on the fence because it's had such an amazing move. And we're now going to let's probably take a look at it from the monthly chart now because it's had this amazing move from this point. If this area fails, well, that's the failed breakout. We can see it on the monthly chart. For we had this little small move in here, now a small move up here. So now we're looking at a failed move one way or another, which means fast mover. We're going to have a long, long, choppy sideways range for several years between 3,000 and 20. I don't think that'll happen, but because of this move in here, if you have this come in play where you go below it like that, then you get above it quickly and correct that above quickly move. And still, the 18 average of lows comes in at 6,143. I've been saying that for a while, that in time it would meet up, and it's done exactly that because back in here the 18 lows is 53. And now, of course, it's coinciding with all of those big, big key Fibonacci points. Will this be a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because I know a lot of people don't calculate Fibonacci this way, and people are definitely not counting the 18 average of lows when you look at all the traders in general. But a lot of people are going to have indicators showing the same thing at this level. And just looking at where price action was, just a huge, huge point. We'll end up seeing within time, but if this ends up being that failed breakout, you go above here after making this low and establishing this level of support for reversal of trend. If it goes down below there, will we be making a move, it looks like, to about 1,000, a piercing below 1,000, and even piercing below 974. I don't think that's going to happen, but always the market's going to do what it's going to do. If I thought it was going to happen, well, I would have sold a lot of Bitcoin beforehand because of that exact fact. All right. So, yeah, a lot of people ask me, well, how long? Like, well, that's not the way we put it. What's the price going to be, say, at the end of the year or in 6 months or whatever? And my best answer is, well, what happens if you crossbreed an elephant with a rhino? Elephino. Well, and that's, I don't know. I just know, as I've been mentioning since like pretty much May 1st of 2018, the dryness of these markets, that it's due to undry, if you will. But when something's very, very much really, really overdue, I look at it as in the fact that, okay, so within the next week, month, year, maybe a little more, things will get going. But like I've said many times, I'm not here to try to predict. Oh, this is gonna happen next. The next move is gonna be this. Of course, I'm gonna do it, and I am doing this with this 6,000 level, just because this is what the chart action is showing me. I'm by no means going out there making any type of major, major moves within this. Just if maybe several $100. This move I've been forced to play around with a few $100 because of that, which isn't that much. So I'm just let the market do what it does. Keep on ratio trading all the coins that I am. So with that being said, and I've spent now 10 minutes and 16 seconds talking about Bitcoin and the dominance, I'm now going to conclude that subject and now take a quick look at some altcoins. But before we do that, just something to point out. This is the market cap itself for Bitcoin calculated by TradingView, and at about 133 billion. As we can see, breaking down below the support, that statement is that it's going to 108, and within its correctionary phase, within the sideways move, exitation, of course, and below this key support as well here. But anyway, but out of the alts. I talked about Theta yesterday. It was on the move. It got me up staying late last night because it looked very much November 30ish s like from in here, based on how things were getting out at the time, and especially with like the actual time, like 11, like how 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock was looking. And then I was starting to realize that like 132, 230, I don't think so. And but of course I've had this market going up. Only price pays. I have sold a decent amount of theta over the last well 12, 13, 14 hours, with the majority of them coming at 1190 plus, 1185 plus. They even 12. A lot, most of them were even around 1200 more. And of course doing so against different altcoins, one of which being Go. And like I've stated before, with this red candle down day with this one, it just has a significant move below the lows. Is it going to have a concise move continuing further? Well, so far it's been about a week of just continuing to grind lower, and now starting to enter. I mean, which is the best number to go within this little area for where it came from? I suppose Fibonacci would be the best way of going on this one. So what I would do, I see a low of 79, and I'm going to go just with this high, which I can see at 139, which tells me the key numbers are 112 and that of 98. So a move to a little further in here, probably about 95, like 95 or so, I'd be thinking would be the area where this would be going to. And I can make an aggressive bet, just sell it all, buy it back, and make a easy 10%. Well, I'm doing the same thing with all the ratio trades as far as just extra coin gainage when I talk about making 10% on a 10% move. And if it goes down there, that's what's probably going to happen, because during the way up, most of the time, if everything else isn't going up, and that's been pretty much the case, I'm selling gold for other coins and then going down, of course, retracing its moves, doing it. Now, as far as the 112 number is concerned, we can see that that was support in here. The low in here came in at 112 on the October 9th day from the high, and then it hit. Let me just show us on the. Actually, I want to go 3 hour term time frame. And when it resisted, it's resisting this area now, and yeah, so this looks to me as if it should be heading up to that 98 handle. And what's up with Bitcoin Cash? And I'm just looking at this now as far as the last four candles in here. Interesting. And this is on some pretty decent volume. And I'm just seeing all this now for the first time today. This is just crazy. Well, it's a failed breakdown. It's the reverse, what I used to call the Bart Simpson head formation, because when you looked at, like if you draw, I'm a terrible artist, but I mean, especially the old school Bart Simpson from like when I remember it coming out, like 1991, even, well, not maybe not maybe the Tracy Ullman days, but I always do it that, and this is like this, so that it does this and then back like that. So we have the failed move below in here. Okay, yada yada yada. It's showing some interesting, cool stuff. And I sold some Theta for Bitcoin Cash yesterday, so this could be good. I'm going to go to that crossing next. Yeah, I did. I did. I mean, there's a few things I left off the table, but that was one I didn't. Leaving off the table meaning when I was up late last night, I'm trading like nine whatever different things, eight different things against Theta. Okay, let's leave. I left the LITECOIN on the table. I left the Waves on the table, where if it gets good, and I sold for Bitcoin Cash. I sold for Tezos. What's the 1 minute chart showing me here? Well, this thing really got going at 8:46 a.m. What time did I get up at? I got up at 8:10, which I didn't get much sleep because I went to bed at like 3:30. Yes, I guess I haven't seen this. This is interesting move as you have this breakout occurring here as we leave the 275 handle up to the 280 handle. That's a differential of 2% in a short period of time. And this is a higher market cap coin. Has this very quick retracement, but it doesn't take long for the buyers to come back into control on the short term move. This resistance that was established back in here is showing signs of supporting it or reestablishing that level of resistance, but nonetheless, you're still having this little uptrend. But as these go on, they have been in a large downtrend. I remember talking about breaking above this 50 number and all this type of stuff. Well, that was way back in May, and that wasn't all that long ago, but price going from 53 to 25, losing near a little more than half of its value. From that point, we've had this level of key support where, just like I mentioned on the short term, how it's or supporting resistance. Well, here it's support or resisting support, and it has been since the September ended. So for this entire month and the last few days of this one, or last one, it's what it's been doing. Now along the way, it had attempts to get away from it, which was in here, didn't do so. Successfully correcting, of course. Really moderately tiny attempts in here and in here to come back down to this low, but that didn't even happen. And now, right now, over today and the last 2 days, the attempt, again, just like this, to end that situation of no, I don't. It's either going to be resisting or supporting this, and if it has a decent sized move on that, that's a really interesting setup because if a situation like this were to break out, first I'd be expecting it to go to next key level, which to me seems just around this 32 handle, which on a bullish level is almost like a wild card in how you do it from here. One, do you just keep on going much higher? Or two, do you correct in one of two ways, either congesting or chopping this line, or coming back to the newly 18 areas where we came from, spots like that, or move something like that. But it's a very strong setup if it does that. It wouldn't surprise me in that for probability odds as we see in here. Definitely on the break of established resistance in here that we could be filling some decent empty space pretty fast. And Bitcoin has done a lot of that. Bitcoin Cash, even rather, has done a lot of that in the past. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.